This podcast is brought to you by Three Rivers Energy Partners. In today's episode of Digest This, DOE's announcement of $8 million for microgrid innovation.
They're layering in advanced controls like real-time monitoring software and pushing for workforce training to actually keep these systems running.
And with training programs, they're ensuring local residents are equipped to manage and maintain these systems. Welcome to Digest This, Unpacking Our Sustainable Future, where we dive deep into the latest developments in sustainability and renewable energy. Join us in exploring the pioneering solutions and technologies that are shaping our future. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Microgrids just keep coming up, but for good reasons. This week, we are going to discuss the DOE's announcement of $8 million for microgrid innovation.
You know, Emily, when I first heard about this $8 million funding for microgrids, I thought, wow, this is exactly the type of investment these remote communities need. I mean, they're out there dealing with some, let's call it, serious energy nightmares.
Absolutely. The DOE's CMAP program is a game changer for towns and villages that, quite frankly, have been paying exorbitant rates for electricity. In some Alaskan regions, residents are looking at costs up to 5 times higher than urban areas. And, not to mention, the infrastructure is, in many cases, decades behind modern standards.
Yeah, and on top of that, we're talking about power outages, extreme weather disruptions, and those supply chain headaches. Tiny remote villages where diesel has to be flown in because of bad roads and crazy weather are just one bad storm away from the entire community was left scrambling.
And that's exactly why microgrids are so critical. These systems enable communities to generate and manage their own power locally, reducing dependency on external fuel shipments altogether. In fact, the DOE's focus here is to design microgrids that aren't just functional but scalable and replicable.
Right, and the scalability is huge. We're not talking about just meeting one-off needs. These projects, 35 towns and villages, right?
Yes, and about 20 different partners involved, including nonprofits, energy co-ops, and even Alaska Native corporations. What stands out to me is how comprehensive this approach is. It's not just throwing money at the problem. It's about ensuring that these remote areas get tailored solutions that actually work on the ground.
And I love that they're addressing so many challenges at once. Energy costs, reliability, and just living conditions, honestly. People deserve better. Exactly. And speaking of tailored solutions, the DOE isn't just funding projects and hoping for the best. They're layering in advanced controls like real-time monitoring software and pushing for workforce training to actually keep these systems running long-term. It's like the next step in ensuring these communities, which have faced so many energy challenges, get a reliable and sustainable upgrade.
Exactly. And what's so promising about this approach is how comprehensive it seems. They're not just targeting hardware upgrades. They're integrating tools to modernize entire power systems, making them more reliable and efficient. For example, they're working with tribal communities and universities to kind of co-develop solutions that are sustainable and, more importantly, replicable elsewhere.
Yeah, and those partnerships are key. When you have groups like Alaska Native corporations and local energy co-ops involved, you're dealing with people who really understand the nuances of what these communities face every day.
Right, and one of my favorite examples is the project with the Bering Strait villages. 5 villages are essentially creating governance frameworks and operational plans to incorporate renewable energy into their existing microgrids. It's a huge step toward energy independence for this region that's long been dependent on expensive and not so reliable diesel shipments.
Wait, so they're actually blending renewables into systems that were just running on diesel before? That's transformative.
It really is. By adding solar energy and battery storage into their setups, these villages aren't just reducing costs. They're also building resilience against disruptions, like weather or supply chain delays. And with training programs, they're ensuring local residents are equipped to manage and maintain these systems over the long haul, which is so critical.
Yeah, because, let's be real. Without the right training or a solid workforce, even the best tech can end up just sitting there unused.
Exactly. And that's why the DOE is also working with regional partners like the University of Alaska Fairbanks. They're not just providing technical support, but building local capacity. It's a model that could really be replicated in other remote areas.
So building on that, There are 200 plus microgrids in Alaska having tailored solutions and partnerships. They're clearly onto something big. What makes their approach so uniquely effective for these remote regions?
It's a combination of factors. For one, Alaska has, by necessity, become a leader in microgrid technology. Their geographic challenges, like extreme weather and limited infrastructure, have forced them to innovate. These microgrids provide reliable power in situations where larger, centralized grids might fail or just be too costly to maintain.
Right, and I love that they're not just applying cookie-cutter solutions. These systems are tailored to fit each community's needs, balancing renewable energy sources with traditional fuels. And let's not forget the focus on training locals to keep things running smoothly. That's huge.
It really is, and the support from DOE plays a crucial role. By bringing in technical expertise and helping with things like construction-ready engineering plans, they're ensuring these microgrids aren't just ideas on paper. They're practical, real-world solutions with the potential to transform energy resilience, not just in Alaska, but nationwide.
Yeah, it kind of sets the stage for what's possible, right? Alaska's challenges aren't unique. Many remote areas face the same issues: high energy costs, unreliable grids, and long supply chains. But if these communities can make microgrids work, why not scale up and apply what they've learned elsewhere?
Exactly. What we're seeing in Alaska can serve as a blueprint for other underserved regions, whether it's rural areas in the lower 48, tribal lands, or even island communities. The key is taking these lessons, like stabilizing energy supply chains, reducing diesel dependence, and building local capacity, and adapting them to fit the specific challenges of each region.
And that's where programs like CMAP really shine. They're not just throwing money at the problem. They're creating partnerships, building expertise, and showing that small, well-designed systems can make a massive difference. It's kind of inspiring, don't you think?
It is. It's a reminder that energy resilience isn't just about technology. It's about people. It's about empowering communities to take control of their energy futures, and that's a model worth replicating everywhere.
Well said. And on that empowering note, I think that wraps it up for today's episode. Thanks for diving into this with me, Emily.
Always a pleasure, Alex. And thanks to everyone tuning in. Let's keep the conversation going. Our energy future depends on it.
Absolutely. See you next time. Thank you for listening to Digest This, Unpacking Our Sustainable Future, a Three Rivers Energy Partners podcast. Three Rivers Energy Partners is a renewable energy company that empowers organizations with the ability to create a sustainable future by converting organic waste streams into renewable energy and resources. To get the latest episode of Digest This, or to find out more about Three Rivers Energy Partners, visit threeriversenergy.com or find us on LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. The sustainable future is being created right now. Keep exploring and keep up to speed with the latest in renewable energy and sustainability. See you next time.